was because, I mean, I don't know why Pokimane is quitting Twitch, but it seems like she's quitting. The end of an era. Twitch has been my home for a decade. But it's time to say thank you for all the memories and love during my League, Fortnite, and Among Us days. Okay. Don't know what this means. I texted her. She did not respond. And it's not like she's fucking streaming on Twitch right now. So she probably has spare time to reply, but she's choosing not to. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. But I suspect they should probably... Pokey seems like she's quitting streaming altogether. Yeah. I feel like she's probably not going to go to a different platform to stream. I think she's probably not streaming anymore. And it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense because a lot of people don't really understand this, especially if you're just like kind of watching from afar. People think like Twitch streaming is glitz and glamour and like an endless sea of like $100 million contracts that people are giving you and showering you with praises as you just like sit there and, watch other people's like hard worked YouTube content and offer zero commentary over it. And while the second part is true, I think what a lot of people don't recognize is that Twitch streaming has all of those components. That much is true. Okay. But then it's also a sequence of just like having to withstand endless amounts of cyber stalking and cyber harassment. So, if you ask any other content creator that has like dipped their toes into streaming of any sort, okay, they will most likely tell you, I'm sure that you are being directly, literally harassed by people all day. Yes. So I suspect that that might play a role in this decision. I don't know. I mean, I can't speak for her. I'm sure she will explain it herself. But it's not just that Twitch is the most parasocial site. Hasan, life is hard. No, I'm a very fortunate person. But let's be for real for a brief moment. Behind the scenes, everyone is completely aware of how, at least other content creators are completely aware of like how ridiculous my haters are. Pokey has a lot of them as well. Oh, gee, guys, I'm getting millions a year, but chat is toxic. No, it's not just about like toxicity. And also, this is not a comparison between like a Twitch streamer and a person trapped in an Amazon distribution facility. I think like everybody understands that the person in the Amazon distribution facility is getting paid for backbreaking labor and is getting like meager wages for that backbreaking labor, and it sucks. When people talk about Twitch streaming in comparison to other forms of entertainment, we're just simply talking about other avenues of entertainment, like being a YouTuber, being a podcaster. If you want to talk about like online, being a TikToker, comparisons between different kinds of different facets of entertainment, online entertainment, being an e-celebrity, or even being a real celebrity. Okay, making her decision all about you. Bet you spam texted her. Her decision isn't about you, but like this is actually a perfect demonstration of what I mean. I think like I think that this kind of behavior, like making your 700th sock account, right, to come in here and do this kind of thing and like write this kind of shit in the chat and be so oblivious to the reality that like you're the one who is actually obsessed. This kind of behavior is literally like people in this community know that this is that one specific stalker. You know what I mean? Like this guy is so unimaginably obsessed. Okay? That like people in this community are aware of like this specific schizophrenic stalker, right? Like that's how regular this kind of interaction is, that while I was in the point of describing like how shitty Twitch streaming or just live streaming in general is in comparison to other forms of content creation online, a dude immediately demonstrated that. What are the fucking odds, right? If it wasn't so, if this wasn't like an endless sea of like cyber stalking, harassment, and a pattern of like incredibly obsessive, incredibly unhealthy behavior, okay? And then a defense of that kind of incredibly unhealthy, incredibly obsessive behavior, right? That's the other part of this process. That this is something that other people don't have to, like other content creators don't have to experience to the same degree. Does that make sense? Like, that's just how it works. It is a Twitch especially, and like live streaming especially, lends itself to a lot of like parasocial behavior. Twitch in particular, but live streaming in particular is in comparison to like all other forms of content creation online, gets a shit ton more of this kind of behavior. Obviously, there are definitely upsides to Twitch streaming. Okay. But the reality is, like, you put out a YouTube video, it's very different than speaking for 10 hours a day. Okay. It's like you can craft your narrative perfectly, make it airtight. There's no like misspeaking. There's no like replying to someone in a way that comes across differently than your intentions. Right? And that's it. Would you be willing to share a few incidents on how chat or online negativity affected you on a personal level? If it makes you depressed or something, I think it would make us all understand at a personal, relatable level. No, I am not willing to share any incidents of that sort. So, I mean, I've talked about it before. There's a lot of like actionable death threats. There's a lot of doxing, a lot of swatting. Going around and like trying to make your life miserable. Trying to make your friends' lives miserable, stalking your friends, right? Like stalking any collaboration that you do. Like I did this Alveus collab, right? And immediately in the YouTube uploads of the Alveus collab, you got people being like, "This guy's a terrorist. He loves terrorism. Why are you working with this guy?" Like that level of behavior, unfortunately, is in the eyes of many online now, as we almost completely exist in the internet, is seen as like not the actions of a unhinged hater engaging in cyber stalking to that degree, but simply accountability. There is no real accountability there. It's just a deeply unhealthy person, right? It's not valid criticism. It's just a person shit stirring and smearing. Okay? In some ways, it's kind of similar to what we were talking about earlier with Matt Walsh, right? Like Matt Walsh does not give a shit about Somaliland or Ilhan Omar's perspective. He just sees Ilhan Omar as a black hijabi woman, a Somali refugee that is a U.S. congressperson, and he doesn't like that. And he says, go back to Africa. Go back to your country. That's not a valid criticism. That's just pure unadulterated racism. But overall, I guess I will add the positive point here. Yeah. Accountability in this space of the internet is just a word people use to justify harassment. Exactly. Dog, stop engaging with these idiots or forget the Pokimane stuff. They're losers looking to get you off track. No, this is a good conversation to have that's like about a broader point. Okay? I'll end the conversation on a positive note though. Regardless of this kind of behavior, when people say, why don't you just like stop streaming and do YouTube videos or whatever? Okay. And that's because I love this community. Okay. I love the community that I've cultivated. I believe that there are plenty of people that have changed their attitudes over the course of the many years that I've been streaming. And I will continue to grow this community with the hopes that I can reach out to an even broader audience and change their minds as well, get them to see a different framework. And moments like the Alveus collab, where off the cuff, this community raises almost $30,000 for the Alveus Animal Sanctuary, is exactly why I continue doing the things I do. Okay? That's it. That's why I do it. Also because I'm brain broken. You know what I mean? That's definitely part of it. It's because I'm completely brain broken. But yeah, that's it. That is the major reason. We raise a lot of money for a lot of fucking causes. We change a lot of lives, and I think that there is a reason why, despite the cyber stalking, the psychotic haters, and all this nonsense, which every content creator is aware of, by the way, which I think, in my opinion, makes it worse when a content creator eggs that on, especially because they're aware of it. XQC, Destiny, Trainwreck, Mizkif, Asmongold, Charlie, everyone is aware of it. Not saying that like all of these people are egging it on. Ludwig, Ethan. I'm not using these content creators' names as a placeholder for like someone who eggs it on. I'm simply stating that every single content creator knows exactly what this looks like behind the scenes. Okay, they see it. They're aware of it. This wasn't to name and shame. That's why I added like Ludwig, Cutie, people who are my friends as well into this list of names. Okay? Opening up to a large audience just brings hate, right? Don't you just ignore it though? Yeah. But of course, given Twitch streaming, given live streaming, okay? And the way that live streaming is done, with the constant back and forth interaction being a fundamental part of this process, it is impossible. It is impossible to just like avoid it, because there are many different mechanisms of like continuing that harassment and cyber stalking, for example. So that's something to consider always when we're talking about this sort of thing. It is virtually impossible to ignore it. Unlike the top of the hour ad break. Yes, that's right. Everybody woke up when I said avoid. The same goes for all the assets on Twitter on the Fear and post with Steak and Eggs. I was excited to see you and Will collaborate and awesome with the OTK crew, as I'm a fan of all of you. Comments filled with negativity is dumb. Yeah. I think that it's probably a little bit easier to avoid the negativity if you are not a live streamer. That's my point. And most content creators that are YouTubers, TikTokers, whatever, that have at least like dipped their toes in the live streaming space are completely aware of this as well. They will openly and readily admit it, both off camera and also on camera as well. By the way, here's the 3-minute ad break now. So I think that it just takes a toll. That's it. It takes a toll on a lot of people. You know? It takes a mental toll. That mental toll can turn into a physical toll. It weighs on your consciousness. Right? So that's the reason why I think a lot of people have a... Yeah, Brace Belden said it was wild. You tortured yourself through all this on TrueAnon. That's what I mean. 34 MKD50. Thank you for the 50. Get the subs. Yeah, that's why when you see like podcasters or whatever interact with me, they go, "What the fuck? This is the most maddening thing I've ever seen in my life." Right? The degree of separation that you can have with your audience when you don't have real-time feedback is actually phenomenal. Adam said the exact same thing too. Grimes, of all people, thought I was crazy. Yeah. Like, these are also in the world of entertainment, and they recognize that this is fucking crazy. So, make no mistake, I'm not saying, oh man, my life is so hard. I'm not saying that at all, right? I have a wonderful community. I am incredibly fortunate. Okay, incredibly fortunate. Something that I reiterate all the time. So much so that people will always say, "Oh, he's not demonstrating humility. He's flexing." It's like, no, I'm recognizing my conditions. Okay, but that, of course, is not a justification for like an endless sequence of harassment. But if you're wondering why a lot of streamers end up leaving, it's not because like they got the bag and now they're done. I'm sure they love content creation. That's why a lot of people start doing it. Okay, like, most people don't start content creation because they're like, I'm going to get the bag doing this, okay? Unless they're one of those, like, weird right-wing podcasters who's like, I'm going to create a Discord server, right? Even if you think that you will inevitably make money, you oftentimes have, like, a much more important reason for wanting to do this. Important as in, like, a much more powerful reason for wanting to do this, let's say, okay? It can be wanting to entertain people, wanting to... all I'm hearing is Hasan wants to play more games with the boys. That is true. It can be more to entertain people, make people laugh, make people educate people. It can even be something as stupid as, and I've talked about this already before, wanting to get better at like live broadcasting or communicating your ideas in front of a live audience, uninterrupted, when all you've done, for example, is green screen videos that you pre-wrote, that you're reading off of a teleprompter. That was one of my major motivations as to why I started this, right? Ludwig's new video goes over the numbers and also the more existential purposes.
I made a video
streaming.
3 years.
Existential purposes of what? Streaming? Were you one of the guys he asked? Yeah, I did answer these questions, and I said he can put my name on it if he wants to. So that's it. And put your name last, lol. That's nice. Honestly, the most disappointing part of Pokey's tweet and this idea about leaving Twitch is how we didn't run the top of the hour ad break. Nandre Ara just ran it. So, yeah, you missed it. So yeah, that's it. That's my point. And I understand why a lot of people end up quitting or feeling burnt out. Pokey's been at this game for a very, very long time, right? She's been doing this for years. She's a industry giant, a powerhouse. She has been a lightning rod for the worst kinds of harassment and stalking and like ritualistic abuse that especially women receive. You know what I mean? And that's there's definitely like a double standard. Pokey might be going to YouTube. What? I doubt it. Do you think the cookies was the last straw? Probably not. You're being absolutely unintelligible, thinking that people like Pokey, a person that has literally been cyberstalked, threatened, constantly hated for being a woman and famous on Twitch, has it rough just because of the simple reason of being a woman. Impossible, shaking my head. Especially with the fact that incels constantly attack her. Yeah, I don't think so, shaking my head. What? Oh, I can't. I think you're being sarcastic, right? Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what our I don't know what our situation is, but I can think about it from that perspective. I but yeah, no, it definitely is you know, all of the things that I just mentioned. I have often like everyone in this space knows how fucking diabolically unhinged my stalkers and haters are and how ride or die they are, right? Like they'll go to lengths that you would normally think is just like insane. Like in any other circumstance, in any other normal circumstance where I'm not a Twitch streamer, I guess, you would be like, this is the most insane thing that you've ever done. Or even a large Twitch streamer. If I was like a 300 Andy and like this level of operations was going on, which of course it was when I was a person with only 300 followers, but it's been going since like the TYT days. In every other circumstance, you would recognize it as like, this is unhinged. Okay? This is completely unhinged. Within the normie sphere, it is also completely unhinged. Right? And there's not really too much you can do about it because it's new. Don't you think it's part of the game though? That doesn't excuse it. I think that it definitely. Do you think that content about content is boring? Chat be nuanced, challenge, impossible. I do think that content about content can be boring. You know, but this is a, I guess, pivotal moment. That's why I brought this up. I saw that really old Chad video the other day, and it's like you're an entirely different person. It's wild. What do you mean? I'm not an entirely different person, I don't think. I guess if you just got burnt out on streaming, I can see you just hanging out. Seems like you'd likely just end up working back something like TYT or Majority Report. Then again, a sabbatical would probably feel great from time to time. I've never really seriously contemplated quitting live streaming until this past year, I would say. And the only thing I've thought about if I were to quit live streaming in general would most likely be like going back to college. You know? And just like getting a PhD or something. It's probably what I would do. But most likely not going to happen. Cuz I still I still enjoy it and I still think that there is a lot of impact, a lot of positive impact here. And that's it. That's my take. Anyway. Got any thoughts on the recent content creators quitting? Is it just because of the hate? I think that for Twitch, for everyone really, I think that it has become like a business. When I first started on Twitch, I feel like the environment was less business focused. Nowadays, it's like all business focused, right? Ads, sponsorships, all this stuff, collaborations, like every aspect of this process is no longer as organic and as friendly. I think that plays a role in it for Twitch at least. And I assume that like you know, for YouTubers it's similar as well. And beyond that, I don't know. It probably gets boring. Like for MatPat, think about it. This dude is like almost 40, right? Like he probably doesn't want to make content about like children things into his 40s with like a child, right? Like he can't fake it. So that's probably a part of it.